Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second customer webinar. My name is Anna Chen Yuntai. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Episcore. We are the construction technology company that develops advanced robots and materials to 3D print full-scale concrete houses. I'm here today with Epue Dlamini from RevCon Technology, based in South Africa. Hello.
Hi, Anna. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. And really excited about having you today on our customer webinar. So today we're going to talk about the application of the technology in different markets and specifically in market of South Africa. So we have been in touch with the RevCon technology for, I think, almost 3 years so far, right?
Yeah, about 3 years.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been discussing back and forth how to adopt the technology there in South Africa. And yeah, so, and actually, Appia is our investor on Start Engine. So that means a lot to us, support from our potential customers who also believe in our vision and our company and trust us to become shareholders. So now I'm just going to pass it to you, Epia. Just tell us a little bit more about your company, your background, and how did you come up with the idea of start using the 3D printing technology?
Wonderful. So I'm CEO at RevCon Technologies, and we really believe that the fourth industrial revolution, it just creates an immense opportunity for us to improve the lives of the citizens of our country and of our continent. And one of the most significant challenges in Africa that I personally also feel very passionate about is, the housing challenge, because it really affects infants, it affects young children and women and elderly people. And this lack of access to quality and affordable housing in the country really requires that we as an industry look at how we can use technology to change the status quo. And so simply put, we at RevCon, we believe that there's a role for us to play in leveraging technology, some of the best technology from all parts of the world, and the local skills and the talent that we have in our country to really start to accelerate the change in the built environment and in the housing industry in Africa. And so that's our ambition, to use technology to advance our society and the lives that people live.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for this background and your vision of the what's actually needed in the construction, not just, in the United States, because we based in the United States, we're more familiar with actually what happening here, but it's so important to hear the perspective from people from the other side of the globe, right? And from the other countries. And South Africa is really actually strategically important market for Episcore for us. And I think it's a lot of potential to apply the new technologies like our technology there. So maybe you can tell a little bit more about what are the current problems in your country, in your market? Because I know that here in the United States, for example, we have a huge labor shortage. And also the construction workers, they're retiring in a record number. So there is a huge problem here about that. And also the quality, consistency of the construction process. So maybe you can provide us some insights about your industry. What do you see the biggest problems, and how do you see that the new technologies like 3D printing can actually make change?
For sure. I think in South Africa, we have an advantage when it comes to the labor situation specifically. The labor in South Africa, you do have access to affordable labor. But what you actually find is with the conventional methods that you still have being used, and with the nature of the way the private sector works with the public sector, you do find that you have a lot of quality issues, delivery issues when it comes to speed, when it comes to actually building solid, sustainable buildings. So while you may have access to labor, I think that in the same way that you have a lot of industries outside of the built environment that are leveraging technology, to remove human error, to improve efficiency, to improve quality, and to really build sustainable end production. You need a similar lens in the construction industry, because you do have a lot of capital being outlaid to build social housing and just residential housing in general. But you find that very quickly you start to see significant defects that have safety issues associated to them, and issues that in fact impact the safety of the workers themselves, injuries on site and that kind of thing. So I think in the same way that in other industries you can leverage technology to enhance the outcome and the final result, you can use technology like 3D concrete printing in the construction industry to not only enhance the end result, but to enhance the process of production itself. To make sure that workers are safe. And the thing is, what I find in the research that we've done is that you actually have a lot of young adults going into tech fields and ending up working in service industries and not necessarily using the technical skills that they've acquired to improve the economy. And I think that's a big misfortune, because I think in the same way that you've got companies like Apple and other companies in the United States and other parts of the world developing these kind of technologies that are making a difference, you could have a similar situation in South Africa, but you need to have the drive and the level of focus and the investment to go into building new solutions through technology. So I think quality is a massive issue, affordability is a massive issue. And the skills can be developed. You have a skilled workforce here as well, not just the conventional bricklayer that you typically rely on today. So also in our research, we see that construction and the built environment, those are industries that lag behind using innovation, to drive improvement and to improve quality and efficiency. And I think we as RevCon, we want to be part of the solution that says take technology and give people the standard of quality that they deserve.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for this. This is so really insightful. And I really like that you touched about the skills, right? And about the young generation, and improving the economy if we can have more young people involved in the construction, because it's something that also part of Epi's core vision and mission. It's not just to place the robots to increase productivity, like build more homes, increase inventory in the market, but it's also about how we can get more people involved in the industry, right? And how we can get people who don't have opportunity to work in the construction because it's really hard physical work, right? It's dangerous. It's pretty dirty, right? So some people, they just physically are not really able to keep working in the construction, but they still can bring the very good impact in the economy because they still can work, right? And young generation, they're like, no, I don't want to lay the bricks and mix the concrete. I better go to the software or technologies. But with the new with these robots that we have and technology that Episcore developed, we actually can attract all of these people back to the construction industry, because it's much cooler to work as a printer operator, right? And sit in a pretty safe, let's say, place and operate remotely the robots. You still gonna see the construction side, but you don't need to be on the like just right at the construction site, right? And lifting all of the hard, really heavy materials and operate power tools, for example. So this is how
Yeah.
we see we can get more people back to the construction industry, and this is something that will improve the economy. This is the direct positive effect on the economy, right? And sometimes people saying like, "Oh, you're taking jobs." This is completely
Yeah,
not true, because there
for
are,
sure.
yeah, so I think you have the same in the South Africa, and I think it's across the globe. There is so much, there are so many houses we actually have to build, but we build
Yeah.
way less just because there is not
100%.
enough workers, right? So here we can help to build more homes and attract more people back to the construction industry. So yeah.
100%. I mean, if I just think of, some of the really creative structures as well from an architectural point of view that 3D concrete printing has opened up, you can build buildings that, one could have never even imagined. And if I think of the young generation and the things that they're able to do, let's say in Minecraft, I mean, there's a lot of kids, young kids that will build amazing structures and cities and towns in something like as simple as Minecraft. We're talking about how do you build, how do you bring this virtual world that children are playing with into real society and actually start to be creative as well, aside from just solving the challenges. I think those are some of the really interesting thing that will drive the younger generations back into the construction industry and solve real problems using this technology.
Oh yeah, and you're absolutely right. You know, bringing young generation to the construction, it does not start just from the university, for example, right? It
Exactly.
actually starts
Exactly.
when you're a kid, right? And when you're surrounded by the technologies, and that's something that happens around, you already started being interested in
Yeah.
that. And then, by the
One.
time you're at the university and getting your degree, you already understand what technology is and all of these benefits and architecture design, freedom in architecture design. And yeah, so this is actually why we really also put a lot of efforts in Episcore University. So right
Yeah.
now it's more for the adults, right, and for the professionals who are interested in that. But we do have plans in the future to do more like courses for like a really, let's say, teenagers, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, this is the impact that we believe will help us to also have all of the printer operators in future, right? And also kind of like a change the perspective for the construction, and
Yeah.
new technologies for the construction.
No, for sure. And I mean, I think it goes back to the point you raised earlier about, particularly in the US, and you have the same thing here in the engineering and built environment space where you've got a lot of brain drain, as they call it. Either you have people retiring or you have people leaving the country, and a lot of these skills are leaving. But while that's a problem in and of itself, it's also an opportunity to bring in new types of thinking and to bring in new ways of solving problems into the industry itself. So I think there is a space to create this balance of retaining some of the skills that you don't want to lose, but you won't be able to retain all of it, but also bringing in innovation, which is so needed in this space. And it's not just innovation for the sake of innovation. I mean, there are numerous townships that you can drive past in South Africa where you'll see that there was a construction project to, build social housing or whatever development, and it got to a certain point, but there were quality issues or speed and cost issues and overruns, and therefore you'll just have this vacant land that could be used with just half-built structures. Because of massive issues in terms of development. And I think that's a skills problem, but it's also, something that technology can solve. And so I really think that it's something that our country needs. Housing is a very, and allocation of land. Those are very pertinent issues in South Africa. With the history of the country as well. A big component of socioeconomic change is around developing these buildings and developing towns and cities that everyone can share and have access to a better life. So I don't think we can afford, to have substandard projects that then get, abandoned as such, because of quality issues or because of skills and the lack of the skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah, the new technologies, it's really to improve the construction process, the industry, and as well, the overall economy. The construction industry is basically the one of the biggest, right,
Yeah.
industries and economy, basically contributing to the economy well-being, I would say. So perfect.
Yeah.
And so maybe you also can kind of like tell us about what's your plans with the 3D printing? What exactly you want to build? What type of houses? Did you already identify what would be the market niche, like a more interesting for RevCon? Because we have customers who just, for example, focus on the affordable housing. Some of them want to
Mhm.
build luxury houses, right? Some of
Mhm.
them want to build storages or like a more
Yeah.
specialized buildings. So what's your plans if it's not a secret?
No, happy to share. So, I mean, I've mentioned a lot of, I think the focus of the discussion has been around affordable housing, social housing, because again, I think we really believe that leveraging technology is something that you should drive for the betterment of society, and that the private sector as well as the public sector has a role to play, and so as citizens of a continent, that's what we want to do. And that's where a lot of the population is still doesn't have access to that. So affordable housing is a very big component of why we exist as RevCon Technologies, because we see a real problem, and we believe that once you are able to address the quality housing issue for a family unit, in South Africa you have people living in what they call shacks or makeshift housing, and that comes with a lot of issues. In the wintertime you have small children exposed to the elements. During COVID, you saw families of 8 or 10 sharing really small spaces in these really substandard quality conditions. And you also have a situation where you have a lot of shack fires as a result of the kind of living conditions. Do you know what I mean? So I think there are a lot of additional socioeconomic issues that surround this issue of housing, hygiene being another issue, and I think the solving the housing challenge really lays a really good foundation to improve the lives of the most vulnerable people in our society. But again, I also think that it's for everyone. We have an ambition to take people who are kind of more forward thinking and looking for luxury, or to create a statement or whatever, to build, like I say, to look at how you can create structures that are unlike anything before, and create corporate buildings or really luxurious houses. I mean, one of the really cool things that we've all seen globally now is how Airbnb has changed the way that solution works, and is really opening up to have unique homes available to people to come and experience. And I think that that's a really wonderful use case as well for 3D concrete housing, is to create spaces that can be experienced by multiple people, to create new museums and different kind of structures that can drive that as an industry. And the travel and tourism industry in South Africa is also very important to this economy. And I think that you cannot forget that you can drive other industries using the innovation, the creativity that can come from the more high end or the more premium type of buildings that you can build using 3D construction printing, that you couldn't necessarily do the conventional ways that it's done today. So I think, whether you're looking at the affordable housing market, or you're looking at something like, building new types of museums or unique homes that people can come and experience, in South Africa, or corporate buildings and office parks that, take you into a completely different way of experiencing the country and everything that it has to offer. I think there's so much opportunity. So in our conversations, we're always looking to solve the affordable housing challenge, but we're also looking for bold people who are kind of ahead of the current time, who want to do interesting things with this technology, because I think there's enough room for both.
Yeah, and this is something that we really, admire in our early adopters and customers like you, right? Who also understand that the technology can be applied to any type of construction, because basically what EPISCore technology does, and any large scale concrete 3D printing technology, it basically the tool how to build walls that already, for example, built and well known how to build with the concrete blocks, right? We just build it robotically, right? It's basically it's basically the same walls, right? And we 3D print the walls, which are structurally comparable to concrete masonry unit wall, which is this gray blocks. And but we just don't touch it when we build, right? We just use robots to do that. And if you're reasoning from this fundamental idea and understanding of the technology, you would understand that, oh, actually, I can build affordable housing, I can build luxury, I can build like a commercial, for example, or really neat architecture, designs and everything like that. And in this case, we can really, it's not something that we say like, oh, 3D printing technology is only for affordable housing, right? In this case, people who want to live in luxury houses or like standard houses, they can be like, oh, I don't want to have 3D printed house because it's for affordable housing, right? So we want to really blur this line and don't really create the stigma that 3D printed houses only for the social housing or affordable housing. We want to have affordable housing considered the same as the standard houses, right? Because we can 3D print the concrete houses, they specifically using our technology, the 3D printed walls, they have such a beautiful quality, I would say, that we can just paint it right away. And in this case, you still have affordable house, but it looks really nice and decent, and it's really durable and strong house, right? So we really like this vision that you have, and our other early adopters who understand that, like, this technology is just the way how we can build walls differently, and we can apply it to all of the different niches or construction applications. So
100%. I mean, imagine, another thing that we've discussed, you asked me about segments, is, you still have a lot of children going to school, under a tree, or, you have really poor quality school buildings, and, if you look at the speed aspect, and you talk about walls as well. I mean, I've seen research from the University of Johannesburg talking about, 3D printing the walls of a structure is about 30% more cost effective than the conventional method, if you're looking specifically at the walls. And then if you put that together with the element of the speed and the quality, I like to imagine that within a week, or however long it would take, imagine if you could build a school in a week and move children out of studying under a tree or under the elements. Imagine just in the wintertime. Those are some really dire situations. And also building schools quicker, closer to the where these children and communities are residing. I think that's one of the reasons we really chose to partner with EPISCore, because when we looked at the technology, one of the things that stood out was the fact that, this robot is so modular. You can pick it up and put it on the back of the truck and drive it to wherever you need to. And it's not, it's not an intensely long setup time once you get onto site. Structurally, just looking at the EPISCore 3D printer versus some of the others that we've seen doing our research worldwide, is it looked like, you know, you could just get going as soon as you can, and you can take it where you need to. And there's a lot more flexibility, that you can adapt the printer to whatever kind of, I mean, I love the 3D printed building, the double story building in Dubai. I think that was, you know, one of the most inspiring, and that just showed what you could do with the printer that could fold into a double and print a double story, and then, you know, fit onto a Hilux bakkie. Hilux is a very popular brand in South Africa, you know. So I think those are some of the things that are very important, is to be able to apply the technology in a premium environment, build a really big and sturdy and durable building, with creative architecture, but also be able to take it to a rural area where you may not have the best roads leading to that environment, but you can get there, you can set up the printer really quickly, and you can print and get a building out. So I think those are some of the things that are really excited me personally about Apposcore, and even had me investing in Apposcore personally, because of the comparison. I think the technology, the work that you guys have done to develop the technology is not just actually about, can I print concrete, but it's everything surrounding it, which I think is fantastic.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, because I'm gonna use this, you know, your speech sometimes to tell about our technology, because I think you just did it better than me. So yeah, that means a lot that you understand all of the differences between the our technology and other printers, and you're really
Yeah.
right about the rural areas,
Mm.
because yeah, we just need to have a pickup truck and flatbed trailer. You don't need to have
Mm-hmm.
cranes. You don't need to have
Thank
forklifts, for example, just to unload the printer. You just use the
100%.
joystick, and and you can unwheel the robot to the concrete slab, right? And
Yeah,
also
yeah,
we have the battery that in rural area, for example, you even don't need to have you know, three-phase generator, for example, right?
yes,
So
yes,
yeah, that's something that we have been really working for a long time, and we have been really focused on the product development. And as you said, not just the fancy machine that extrudes the concrete sausages, right? What the
yeah,
actual
yeah,
technology should be, what
yeah,
the numbers of the technologies has to be around this to make this new
yes,
emergent technology uh, feasible, right? Economically
yes,
viable, and
yeah,
easy for the users, right? Because otherwise, it's not going to be scalable. It's not something that you will
100%.
be able to spread it, right? If people really struggle to use it, and it does not
Yeah,
make sense, uh, uh, money wise, technically wise, and um, from the user perspective, right? User experience. So yeah,
100%.
yeah.
No, I have an industrial engineering background, and so, you know, all of the elements that we were looking at is the entire process design. You know, you can have a machine that works wonderfully well when it's doing the job, but it takes 72 hours around the job to set up. It takes an extra 10 people. You know, you have to hire additional equipment. All these things become bottlenecks, and actually then destroy the value that you're trying to build, and bring to the fore. So I think the commercial model, that it allows goes beyond just, you know, when the print is actually printing. It allows you to be cost efficient with everything end to end, and I think that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the your experience from the industrial machinery and industrial design and
Yeah.
processes, that's actually something that's really important to also see this technology, not just the solution, but it's also the
Yes.
heavy industrial solution, right? Something like a similar
Yeah.
to that. Yeah, and this is what
Yeah.
we also were trying to reduce. So just to make a really handy, I would say, tool, right?
Yes.
So people with all of the level of experience, skills, and knowledge, right, how to operate the
Yeah.
machinery,
Yeah.
they can easily operate it. Of course, with the some level of training,
Of
but
course.
yeah, we wanted to kind of like reduce this bar for people to operate this, because we need people to operate the machines, right? And this is how we go to scale it and really spread across the world. So yeah, I think we discussed pretty everything, and that was really insightful. And thank you so much for all of your, you know, thinking process behind this, your opinions, why you invested in us, why you want to work with us, your knowledge about the market in the South Africa. So I hope that I'm sure that's going to be really, really useful information and insightful information for our investors, for our customers, because we want to show the perspective not only from the customers in the United States, but from the other countries. Because as I always say, in the product market fit is different, right?
For
Every
sure,
country
for
is
sure.
different. So really happy that we started working on this almost 3 years ago, and
Same.
yeah, really excited about the next steps, and uh, work together to grow Episcore and bring this technology to the new markets like South Africa.
No, likewise. I mean, we're really grateful for the work that you have put in as Apple into developing the technology in the ways that you have. I definitely, I've looked at other companies, and I definitely feel like, the bulk of the focus of Apple is on the right things, and really appreciate that, because I think we want to make an impact, and we want to always be focusing on the right things, and make sure that we're able to deliver value. And Apple as a partner, I mean, I don't think there's any alternative to us, and we've really enjoyed our collaboration over the last 3 years as well, and see a long future of working together as you expand internationally as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And thank you again for your time today to share in all of the your knowledge and opinion and like experience. So yeah, again, really excited about the next steps and how we go into take more markets in the world, together.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.